Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this presentation. AI won't replace L&D, but L&D leaders who master AI will replace those who don't. This program is part of the SHRM webinar series. You can learn about upcoming and on-demand events from our e-newsletters and the SHRM webinar homepage. Before we hear from today's speaker, I want to provide with some guidance on using the SHRM webinar interface. To the right of your screen, you'll be able to submit questions to the speaker or to our webinar tech support team if you're having any issues viewing the program. Closed captions are available. Click on the CC button to have the captions presented. After this program, you'll receive an email with the SHRM recertification code. Viewing this full program qualifies for one PDC towards SHRM CP and SHRM SCP recertification. You can claim the program for other kinds of HR recertification credit, but you need to provide the details to your certifying body. We only have pre-approval for SHRM certification. Now about today's program. AI won't replace L&D, but L&D leaders who master AI will replace those who don't. To lead our presentation, it's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Gleb. He is known as the Office Whisperer by the New York Times, helps tech-forward L&D leaders replace overpriced vendors with staff-built AI solutions. He serves as the CEO of the Future of Work consultancy, Disaster Avoidance Experts. Dr. Gleb wrote 7 best-selling books, and his forthcoming book with Georgetown University Press is The Psychology of Generative AI Adoption. His most recent bestseller is the ChatGPT for Leaders and Content Creators, Unlocking the Potential of Generative AI. And his cutting-edge thought leadership was featured in over 650 articles and 550 interviews in the Harvard Business Review, USA Today, CBS News, Fox News, Time, Business Insider, Fortune, and the New York Times, and elsewhere. His writing was translated into Chinese, Spanish, Russian, Polish, Korean, French, Vietnamese, German, and other languages. And his expertise comes from over 20 years of consulting, coaching, and speaking and training for Fortune 500 companies from Affleck to Xerox. Dr. Gleb, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Rashanda. I really appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. So let's talk about AI in learning and development. Specifically, how do you use AI effectively, and how do you build AI capacity internally in your L&D team as well as within your organization? That's what we'll focus on. So using it both for improving your delivering of learning and development and using AI tools and just thinking about how to improve AI capacity internally within your L&D team and within your organization. So that's what we'll talk about today. It's a broad topic, but I think we'll manage it. So L&D leaders are facing a broad mandate because AI adoption is accelerating quickly. I don't have to tell you that. You're under pressure to adopt AI. You're hearing about it everywhere. There's a lot of media around it. And I'm sure your leadership is breathing down your neck to help make sure that you are integrating it into your own efforts and you're teaching your teams, not only in learning and development, but the teams across the organization, how to use AI effectively. So the skills gap that we're facing right now is an operational drag, and traditional training methods are too slow to keep up. So you really need to rethink the approach that you're taking, and a number of you have been already doing that. You know that the old role of being the content factory, creating content for folks, is just too reactive. And that is not what the world needs right now. The world needs more of a capability architect role, a proactive role where you create capability inside your organization, responding to the needs of your organization effectively, rather than just creating content that you hope people will like. And the goal is to stop buying external solutions for content and start building internal resilience for learning and development. Throughout the presentation, what I'll be doing is I'll be demoing. So I'll be showing examples, specific examples of how you can use AI to improve your learning and development. And it will be both delivering value to you and to your organization through learning and development and showing you how you can use AI as a tool. So let's start with using AI to identify your organization's strategic gaps quickly. How do you do that? So what I do when I work with learning and development teams is I help them build custom AI agents that are that they learn how to build themselves with my coaching, and that they apply to their needs. And then they can put in easy prompts into those agents to then get valuable information from those agents that's going to be customized to their needs. So this is not a generic off-the-shelf product. This is something that you can easily build internally once you know how to build such tools. So custom AI agents, it's not hard to learn how to build such tools. If you know how to use Excel, then you can build these tools. If you learned how to use an LMS system, you can learn how to use AI tools to build custom AI agents that will help you a lot and help your organization a lot in your work. So let's talk a little bit about a prompt, one example of this custom AI agent specifically for a strategic audit. So what you'll do is you'll put a prompt into your custom AI agent. Act as a chief learning officer, analyze the attached company strategic goals document. Identify the top 5 critical skills employees will need to achieve these goals that are likely missing from a standard workforce, and output as a table. So you're telling it the output, you're telling it its role, and you're giving it some documentation to analyze, and you're telling it what the goal is, what you want it to achieve. Now, this custom AI agent should already have your internal company documentation, especially your learning and development documentation, but also other company information in its backend as part of its system operating instructions. And that will be part of the knowledge base. So what you do is you take an existing LLM. For example, for this example, I'm using Gemini. But if you're a Google shop, you can use Gemini. If you're a Microsoft shop, you should be using Microsoft Copilot. Other organizations can use ChatGPT. They can use Anthropic. Those are the four you should be using. You shouldn't be using anything else besides those. So Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, so Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Anthropic or Claude. Those are the ones you should be using. The best one, because they just came out with the newest model, is Anthropic Claude. So just FYI, that's right now. But at the time I was using this, Gemini 3 Pro was the best model. So this is called the custom gem, as you can see, when it will be responding. And it has in its backend information about a company's, all the relevant information about a company, strategic plan, demographics, workforce, all of that, and learning and development plan documentation, all as part of its knowledge base. Then it also has instructions on how to analyze this knowledge base. And so the combination, what you really need to create an agent is this combination of instructions for how to analyze knowledge base and how to respond appropriately, and then you need the actual knowledge base. So those are the two things that you need in order to create an agent. And the secret sauce is essentially knowing which documents to put in and knowing how to write the instructions. Once you have that, and the nice thing is instructions, it's called natural language programming because you just talk to it in natural language. So you give it instructions and then you see what the output is, and then you revise the instructions to give you better output. You're a learning and development leader, you essentially tutor it, mentor it, give it coaching instructions on how to do better in the future. So that is the nature of how you create an AI agent. I can talk about this in much more depth later. But I will send you some resources on creating an AI agent if you want to build an AI agent yourself using these resources, as well as a copy of my book, ChatGPT for Leaders and Content Creators. For those who go to tinyurl.com/Gleb event. I should actually show this to you so it's clear. So if you go to the link on the post-training resources, it's going to be at the very bottom of the page. You could see post-training resources, https tinyurl.com/gleb, my name, event. So tinyurl.com/gleb event. I'll send you a copy of my book. Oh, so I'm not trying to sell my book. And I'll send you the resources on how to create a custom GPT learning and development agent like the one that I'll be demoing throughout the presentation. So that'll be a quite useful tool for you. And I'll be happy if you want to have a coaching session, free coaching session. So I'm not selling that either, to show you how to use these tools and how to build these tools yourself. But anyway, to get these resources, go to tinyurl.com/gleb event, tinyurl.com/gleb event. All right. So going back to the agent itself. So you remember the prompt. Attach. So there's a document attached, top 5 critical skills, output as a table. Then it actually produces this output. So you could see what the output is. So then there's an attachment. So strategic skills analysis gap. So gap analysis in table format as requested. Strategic goal. So internal resilience. Goal. So you want more internal resilience. No code tool construction, automate Copilot Studio for a workshop. So why it's missing, that employees are conditioned to be consumers of technology, viewing tools as black boxes they can't fix or improve. Impact on 2025 strategy. Without this, the organization remains dependent on expensive consultants and can't make solutions themselves. Okay, so that's one. Another one is hyper-personalization in learning and development, N=1 curriculum design. So prompt engineering for contextual adaptation, meaning that you want your learning and development to be adapted, customized to each individual employee. So standard workforces rely on static libraries. They lack the ability to manage AI, manipulate it to adapt content to specific roles and projects. So failure, of course, as you know, as an L&D leader, leads to low engagement because employees are overwhelmed by irrelevant training that they don't perceive as relevant to them. So that's another goal. Then there are a few other goals. I'm not going to read through this one, but let's look at predictive agility. So forecasting emergent needs. So shadow AI analysis and pattern recognition. So teams that rely on annual surveys and lagging data rather than scanning real-time usage trends or industry shifts. That's a problem. And so the organization reacts to skill gaps only after they have become operational drags. And there are more here. Workflow integration, learning in the workflow, human-centric governance, and so on. And so this is a quick analysis that it did, and you can ask it more questions and go into more depths, but you could see the core insight. The analysis highlights that skills gap is an operational drag. So we talked about how you don't want to be a reactive content factory. So the focus should be to move to a co-creation phase where the goal is to teach employees how to build their own AI tools and demystify building AI tools themselves. Because again, if they can learn Excel, they can learn no-code tools. At least a number of them will learn and they'll adapt tools that other employees build. And that'll be very effective because if the employees build tools themselves, they'll build tools that they want to use. And that helps address resistance and that helps greatly improve learning. So that's an example of a strategic analysis. Let's talk about another problem that a number of L&D leaders are dealing with, the one-size-fits-all problem. So I talked about this already briefly, about the content factory, with static content libraries with low engagement. And so employees are getting irrelevant training, and learning really needs to happen in the flow of work, not in a separate LMS. That's where we really want to go. So you want to personalize learning, N=1 curriculum design at scale. AI is great for that if you know how to use it, how to adapt content to the learner's role, current projects, and comprehension levels. so that users can tap resources as they need them. So let's talk about this, creating a tailored learning paths. A custom AI agent, so again, your L&D advisor, you're giving it this following prompt. Act as an instructional designer, create a 2-week micro-learning syllabus for a senior sales management to teach AI-assisted lead scoring. Limit is 15 minutes per day, focus on immediate application, no-code tools. And so here, they are Microsoft shops, so they're directing the AI agent to specific tools to use, Microsoft Copilot and Power Automate. Okay, so you put that information into your agent. And let's see what it does in response. So, knows the target audience, senior sales management, 15 minutes a day. Let's see what it does. So week 1, demystification and prompt engineering. Focuses on teaching the AI how you think so it can mimic your decision making. First day, the audit. Upload free past won deals and free lost deals in Microsoft Copilot and Word Excel. Ask it to analyze the difference in initial email communication between these two groups. List free identifiers of a high quality lead with the outcome of a defined scoring rubric based on your actual data. Next is define criteria. Again, this is 15 minutes per day, and this is a pretty doable task for a manager to ask for a manager to take 15 minutes per day to do this. Then the next one, criteria definition. Refine the rubric, use Copilot to turn your day 1 insights into a prompt. Create a checklist of 5 yes/no questions to ask when evaluating a new lead based on the one deal profile. So you have a standardized criteria list for the AI to apply. Next, you have testing the brain. Taking a current new lead, paste their LinkedIn profile or website about them into Copilot, run the checklist against it. Then you verify the quality of it. That's the human in the loop check. Then the next day, so again, that's a pretty quick activity to do that a manager can do in 15 minutes as part of the course. Next, speed profiling. The action, use Copilot in Edge sidebar, visit the prospect's company website, prompt, based on my ideal customer profile document, give this company a fit score of 1 to 10, explain why in 3 bullet points. So here, this is a very nice activity for a manager and of course the sales team later, as he's modeling what the sales team will do. You are using the browser. So you're not leaving the browser, you're doing it actually within the browser with a sidebar. Okay, day 5, the week in review. Review the scores generated this week. Did the AI miss anything obvious, and tweak the instructions to fix this error? For example, ignore company size, prioritize industry. So that's the first week. Then the second week is actually going to, so the first week is building this series of prompts and seeing how they're useful and already getting value from them. The second week is creating an automation tool, no code automation tool. So here we're working with Power Automate. Previously, we were working with Microsoft Copilot. So Power Automate is Microsoft's automation tool. And so day 6, search for the template when a new email arrives and analyze sentiment with AI Builder to give people an idea of what it actually looks like. Day 7, in Power Automate, set the trigger to when a new lead is created in Dynamics 365 or a new row is added to Excel. And so you're getting this information to be automated right away. So whether it's Dynamics 365 or Excel or the equivalent if you're not using Microsoft, but I ask it to use Microsoft tools. Day 8, add the AI step. Connect the AI builder to your system prompt from day 5 into the instruction box and map the lead's description as the input. So the brain, that's the AI tool, is now coming into the automated workflow. So when you add a lead to Dynamic 365 or add it to Excel, wherever you have your leads, then the AI will automatically work on it. Day 9 is the output. Add the final step. Update the row or send the email. So configure it to write the AI score back into your CRM or Excel sheet automatically. That lets you score leads while you sleep because you already trust that the AI is doing a reasonable job based on week one lead scoring. And here you are adding it to the process of how you save leads and how you score them. So day 10 is you go live and monitor, turn on the flow, monitor the next 3 leads, and ensure human reviews any score below 5 before discarding as a governance check. So here you have a deployed tool built internally, not bought. And this is the kind of thing that your leadership will love. So as you are teaching your people how to use AI and how to build their own tools using AI. You saw this yourself. This is 10 days where a manager puts in 15 minutes per day to build this tool with clear guidance from a course you develop for them. So again, and here in terms of the L&D advisor strategy note, you notice that we didn't start with how to use Power Automate. So this was just a business solution problem where you combine intelligence, the AI, with automation. And that's when you think about what an AI agent is, that is what it is. It's a combination of intelligence and automation. So when you hear people talking about agentic AI, that's what they're talking about. This is an agentic tool. It combines AI intelligence with automation, and it allows people to automatically create leads while they sleep at any time, whenever they're added to Excel or Dynamics CRM. So for all sorts of combinations of inbound leads that they're getting. And of course, if you make this tool a little bit more complex, you can use it to visit various LinkedIn profiles or visit various company websites and about pages and do lead scoring that way. And there's definitely ways to do that, but that would be going a little bit into a longer course. This is for inbound leads. So this respects their senior role by leveraging their expertise to teach the AI rather than treating them as a novice student. They don't need to know all the details of Power Automate. You need to know more, of course, about how Power Automate works and Microsoft Copilot works if you're using those tools or whatever tools you're using. I told you. If you're using Gemini platform, they have the equivalent. If you're using OpenAI, ChatGPT, they have equivalent. So does Anthropic Claude. They connect to Zapier and so on, other automation tools. So once the manager sees this work, you can ask them to demo their new bot to the team, which converts them to more of an AI champion, helping spark peer-to-peer adoption. Okay, so hopefully this shows you the immediate benefit that you can offer to your team while you're getting benefits yourself, because this tool, the L&D tool, the chatbot agent that I developed and that you can develop internally, is actually helping you build all of these tools, right? So you are using it within L&D and you're using it to provide value externally. Let's talk next about getting sentiments. Why surveys fail? They're not great. Skills inventories are obsolete when they're published. Manager assessments are subjective and biased. And so we're making decisions about skills gaps based on lagging data. Much better is a predictive approach where you use AI to scan industry trends and internal project data, identify usage of shadow AI to find skills that already exist in your organization, and forecast emerging trends before they become serious gaps. So let's talk about a prompt. Benchmark your team against the market to find missing AI skills. Compare the top 5 required skills for a senior marketing manager in 2024 versus 2020 based on LinkedIn job descriptions. Highlight AI-specific skills that have emerged over that time. Let's talk about this example. So you see, again, just put this into the L&D agent. Again, for this purpose, we're using Gemini as the agent, but you can use any of the 4 tools I mentioned. Strategic skills audit, senior marketing manager, 2020 versus 2024. In 2020, traditional skills was copywriting and editing, writing blogs, emails, social posts. In 2024, This transformed into structuring prompts to generate drafts and using human intelligence for critical review. So you're shifting from creation to curation to editing, using routine automation for drafting. Strategy. A/B testing and surveys was 2020, relying on lagging survey data to make decisions. In 2024, it's predictive pattern recognition, using AI to scan massive data sets to forecast trends before they happen. Operations. And so you're shifting from lagging data to predictive agility. Operations. 2020, vendor and agency management, briefing external agencies to build assets or run campaigns. However, in 2024, no-code tool building, building internal shadow AI tools to solve problems in days, not months, like the shadow AI tool that we just saw earlier that managers should have the skills to build those. Analytics, excellent data visualization is the old skill, manually cleaning data and building pivot tables. The new skill, 2024, data processing and storytelling, using AI to analyze data sets instantly and focus human intelligence on what to do with the data. Leadership is previously managing human output and timelines. Right now, it's not only that, but ensuring ethical use of AI, safety, and maintaining humans in the loop. So the three emerging AI-specific skills, big ones, algorithm benevolence, governance, so the ability to oversee black box tools and mitigate anxiety by explaining how AI works under the hood. Then workflow augmentation, the ability to identify usage of AI in the team and formalize it into shared organizational capabilities. And conversational stimulation, which we'll talk about later, using AI to practice and simulate difficult negotiation or leadership scenarios. So those are the kind of new skills that you want to be targeting and helping your marketing managers develop. You want to be hiring people with those skills, and you want to help your existing folks develop these skills. All right, let's talk about what belongs in AI versus human intelligence. It's great for data processing and pattern recognition and routine automation and drafting, getting a draft to 80% there. Human intelligence, however, is critical thinking and judgments. So why should we do this? The why question. So again, judgment, should we? Why is critical thinking. Emotional intelligence and empathy. The who question. Who are we actually talking about? How do they feel about this? And governance and ethics. So this is the guardrails. This is what humans need to be doing. So let's talk about soft skills. Practice difficult conversations in a safe and low-stakes environment. So you can create an AI agent that models acting as a disgruntled employee who feels undervalued. I am your manager. We're having a one-on-one meeting. I'll start, respond realistically but professionally. And so you can create an agent. I created a script for a manager to see this conversation and talk it through. But you can create an L&D agent that specifically whose goal is to work with the manager and teach them these skills in the process of working with the manager directly. So let's talk about a conversation, a retention conversation. Manager says, Jordan, thank you for making time. I want to use this one-on-one to step back from the daily project list. To be honest, I've sensed that you've been running on empty lately, and I feel like I haven't done a good job of recognizing the load you're carrying. How are things actually going? Question mark. So this is a nice empathetic way to start a conversation. The analysis from the AI is that manager used emotional intelligence to label the emotion. Jordan responds, honestly, I'm tired. I look around and I see all this excitement about the new AI strategy and the future of work. But meanwhile, I'm still here manually cleaning data and fixing the reporting errors from Q3. It feels like the cool projects go to the new hires and I'm just the Generative keeping the lights on. It's hard to feel valued when I'm drowning in grunt work. And so here you have the analysis from the AI. Jordan reveals the core fear, irrelevance and burnout. I'm not going to read for the rest of the conversation, but you can take a look at what's the analysis of the manager validates Jordan, doesn't defend the company. They acknowledge this issue. So Jordan talks about time scarcity and be feeling overwhelmed. The manager talks about replacement. So the Jordan talks about replacement fear, that this is a fear of his about AI. And then the manager talks about how you really want to move toward co-creation and building the solution that saves your own time. And so here, Jordan likes this idea of taking charge and being relevant rather than irrelevant. And here is the manager being happy about this and reviewing the plan. So the L&D advisor debrief. Why this worked? Validation. The manager didn't dismiss the burnout, acknowledged it as an operational drag. They reframed AI from extra homework to solving the burnout and assured them of their higher value once the robot takes on the grunt work. And so the janitor, Jordan, is on board now. All right. So this is a way that you can work with your managers to help them practice those difficult conversations, those important skills that they need to develop themselves. So you can have a learning and development agent that's separate from the other one you build for your own internal team, but you can create a product for your managers where they can take 15 minutes a day to practice having difficult conversations with diverse types of employees who might be causing them problems. And you can take real stories from your company and have them put them into the database documentation that you provide to this agent, and you provide it with instructions on how to act. And then it will have the conversation with the agent, and then it will have the conversation with the manager, and then it will provide the manager with an analysis of how they did and how they can do better next time. And so that is a very useful tool that you can provide to managers that they'll be pretty happy about. Okay, so let's talk about a problem I've seen with many L&D teams, which is dependency. They tend to, when they're thinking about AI tools, they tend to go externally and get external pre-built L&D or HR themed tools, and relying on external consultants or have external consultants build the tools for them. You're essentially creating a black box that you can't maintain and that you don't own. Instead, what you really need to do is learn how to use tools like Gemini, Google Gemini, like Microsoft Copilot and Power Automate, like ChatGPT, OpenAI's ChatGPT platform, and Anthropic's Claude platform. They're not only the chat bots that you're talking to, there's a whole program platform behind them if you use their application programming interfaces, their APIs, to integrate them into your own tools that you can use to accomplish your L&D goals. So lots of stuff, just like I was demonstrating with the course on the AI agent, that you can build that AI agent that automatically scores leads, inbound leads for you. And you can teach the managers how to build these AI agents. So then it's a sales manager. You can create these sorts of courses. I mean, imagine how much value you would provide your company if you create these sorts of courses for all sorts of managers in your company, for them to build all sorts of AI tools for themselves that would help them accomplish their goals. That'll be an invaluable service. And you can see that it's not that hard to do. So internal ownership is what will bring speed, agility, and cost control to you. So you want to not pay for consultant premiums. You want to have internal teams, and you want to make sure that your internal teams are the ones that are doing this. People want to stay where they grow, and you will help them grow. So, live demo, the CFO email. Let's talk about how to secure budget for AI initiatives. So this is a prompt where you're asked to act as a CFO and critique this prospect for an AI training program. Tell me exactly why you would reject it, and then rewrite it to focus purely on ROI, cost savings, and risk mitigation. So how do you bring this information to your leadership team, to the CFO, asking them to actually approve this? Let's talk about that. Act as a CFO. So here's this prompt. The CFO critique. Verdict rejected. The CFO's feedback. I'm sending this back. It reads like a nice to have HR initiative, not a capital investment. Here's why. Vague metrics. You talk about empowerment and skilling, but that's not something that fits in a balance sheet. I need to know how this impacts EBITDA. Hidden costs. You're asking to have my most expensive resources, senior managers, away from revenue generating activities for 15 minutes a day. You haven't proven that the efficiency gain outweighs that opportunity cost. No stop strategy. You're asking for more money for training. You aren't telling me what we stop paying if we approve this. Are we cutting the external vendor budget, for example? Which you are. Risk blindness. You want employees building their own tools? That sounds like a security nightmare. Who is auditing this? If a bot hallucinates in a client email, we are liable. So, valid criticisms. How do you respond to this? And this is, again, the bot helping you respond to this, so helping you bring this information to your senior leadership. Here's a proposal rewritten to address the CFO's concerns: risk, asset creation, and cost avoidance. To CFO from L&D leader. Proposal reducing OPEX by 60% via internal AI capability. Build versus buy strategy. External summary. We're currently leaking capital by relying on external consultants for AI implementation. This proposal outlines a strategy to internalize this capacity, reducing our reliance on vendor contracts and mitigating the risks of unregulated shadow AI usage, which I'm sure plenty of people in your company are using AI. Currently, we're paying external vendors an estimated $200,000 to $500,000 annually for AI strategy and tool implementation. This is a pretty high cost, a dependency tax. The inefficiencies that vendor-built tools are black boxes. When workflows change, we pay change orders to fix them. The hidden risk is that our audit shows employees are already using and approved AI tools to manage workload, creating data privacy liabilities already. So it's already happening what the CFO is worried about. The solution is a capital-efficient training pilot to reduce external dependency with internal sufficiency. So here's the cost structure. You have perpetual vendor fees of $200,000 plus a year, whereas you have a one-time training investment into an external facilitator who knows how to train your team on how to actually build AI tools effectively. And then once the L&D team is trained, you just have train the trainer training from this external facilitator. Once the L&D team is trained, then they train everyone else to build these tools. So this L&D really needs to function as the internal driver here, because once you learn how to use these tools, you can teach everyone else. And that's typically how, when I work with companies, I teach the L&D team, and then the L&D team teaches everyone else how to do this. And we build a couple of pilots together, and then they just do the rest of everything else on their own. So this is something that you can do yourself. I mean, you don't need to hire me. You can learn this yourself if you want to invest some time into learning by yourself the back end of Microsoft Copilot and the back end of Power Automate. So whichever path you want to take, that's up to you. Asset ownership. The vendor owns the IP in the current model when you buy it. When you build it, you own the tools. So you build it within a no-code platform, you own that. You own those tools. That's not something that the no-code platform owns. You own that automation. And the speed to value takes months, because vendor onboarding and getting them familiar with your tools and needs is difficult. Whereas currently with internal development, if you choose an internal development approach, that takes much less time, because you already know what you need. And then once you know how to build it, then you just build it. So you have a proliferation of internal tools that are very helpful. Risk mitigation. So this is something that is definitely something to be aware of. How do you mitigate risks? So you want to have an AI plus HI, human intelligence framework. All tools should be deployed with a human in the loop protocol for ethics and safety, and using existing secure Microsoft Google enterprise licensing, eliminating the use of tools that are public and that aren't secure. So you can use Microsoft Copilot, Google, Gemini. If you use enterprise, you can use the enterprise versions of OpenAI or the enterprise version of Claude, or of Anthropic Claude. So all of those are going to be fine, and all of those are going to be secure. The ask. We request a one-time allocation of X dollars, for example, 30,000 for the Q1 AI Championship pilot. The commitment is upon completion, we reduce external consulting spend by X% in Q2 and deliver 5 fully functioning internal automation tools. So this is a version that is much more likely to get support from your leadership team. It explicitly trades a small one-time cost of training for a larger recurring cost of consultants. It frames L&D not as a consuming time, but as building assets, and addresses the shadow AI fear directly, positioning training as the solution to security risks, not the cause. Now, here's another reason why this strategy works much better. And that has to do with something that we already talked about with what Jordan was expressing about fears around black box and fears around irrelevance and job displacement. Resistance from employees is not about laziness, not doing AI. It's really about fear of irrelevance. Will AI do my job better than me? Black box anxiety. Fear because I don't understand how the decision was made. Fear because it's mysterious. The strategy is co-creation. Just like you teach the manager how to use the AI and how to use the automation, and so that they can know and be confident about this lead scoring process. The same applies to all other tools. People support what they create and what they understand. So you want to teach employees to build their own tools, GPTs, macros, automations, shifting from compliance to contribution. The reassurance. Communicate safety and opportunity, augmentation, not replacement, with an email from the CEO to the entire company announcing the new AI initiative. And so this is, again, something you put into a custom AI agent. Your learning and development agent. Drafting an email from the CEO. The tone should be exciting but reassuring. Explicitly state that no jobs are being replaced, but roles will evolve. Emphasize that we're investing in upskilling everyone and helping all employees build their own AI tools. So let's see the email. Subject. The future is built by you. Our strategy for AI and human intelligence. Team. Everywhere you look, headlines about artificial intelligence are dominating the conversation. I know that for many, this rapid shift brings a mixture of excitement and anxiety. I'm writing this to be crystal clear about our strategy and where you fit into it. Our philosophy is augmentation, not replacement. Let me address the biggest question first. We are not automating you out. We are upskilling you up. Our goal is augmentation, not replacement. We believe the future belongs to the AI and HI, human intelligence model. The AI domain is using technology for data processing, pattern recognition, and routine automation. Humans is critical thinking, emotional intelligence, strategic governance, and creativity. So you want to give the robot work, you want to give the automation capable robot work to the robot so you can do the human work that drives the fundamental mission. So the strategy is going to be from consumers to creators. Historically, technology was something that people was imposed on people and people were forced to use it. Here, a vendor sold us a black box tool, you were forced to use it. That's the previous approach. We're changing that. We believe that true agility comes from internal ownership. We don't want to buy external solutions. We want to help you build your own tools to solve the problems that frustrate you daily. So to make that happen, we're making a massive investment in internal capacity building. We are launching the AI Champions Initiative, led by, of course, L&D, which includes safe box environments where you can test tools without fear of breaking anything. No code training. You don't need to be a software engineer to participate. We'll teach you how to build automation using plain English. Co-creation labs. Time dedicated to building tools that fix your specific workflow. And so we're not looking for passive users, we're looking for architects. The goal is not for you to worry about AI taking your job, but for you to master AI so you can evolve your own role. So AI won't replace our people, but our people who master AI will replace the old way of doing things. And so let's build this future together. Now, this email works because it explicitly defines the boundaries of AI doing routine work, humans do critical work, which calms people who tend to be alarmist. It also empowers employees, moving them from a passive position to active ones, building tools, leveraging the principles that people support what they create. So, I hope you found this to be useful and you have found the information that I shared, as well as the demo itself of the tools to be useful, to be valuable to you, because you want to definitely build and bring these AI tools within learning and development and use them yourself to create learning and development courses and content and resources for your folks. But you also really want to think about how you can bring AI knowledge and expertise to your team. Learning and development really can take the lead in this, because the difference between if you buy a black box vendor solution, L&D is not involved in it, let's be honest. But if you have an approach in your company of, hey, we're going to train our people to build these tools, not only is it going to be better it's going to be a win-win-win. It's going to be a win for learning and development because you'll be training people, you'll be providing value. It's going to be a win for your people because they will not feel as anxious and resistant, and they will build their own internal AI capacity. And it's going to be a win for your leadership because it will cut costs and it will improve people's usage of AI, increasing their productivity. This is a win-win-win for everyone. You want to focus on building the capability for teams to solve your own problems. AI skills, development skills, build their own moat. That's offer the new moat for strategic effectiveness. It's your privilege and responsibility as L&D leaders to fill this moat for your organization. And I hope you will do so. To help you, I mentioned the resources from the training. So you want a copy of my book, ChatGPT for Leaders and Content Creators, and prompts and an AI agent customized to L&D leaders, sorry, with previous presentation, to L&D leaders. Copy of my book, the slides from today, and a pro bono coaching meeting. And so that's all going to be available at the link that I gave you, tinyurl.com/Gleb, my name, GLEB, EVENT, event. So again, tinyurl.com/Gleb event. That's going to be a copy of my book, the prompts and the AI agent that I was showing you earlier from this presentation. Then the slides from today, a pro bono coaching meeting at tinyurl.com/Gleb event. Again, tinyurl.com/GLEB EVENT. And this stage, I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have.
We have a few questions that actually have come in. An audience member wrote, some of my clients are hesitant to accept AI because they see it as cheating / have concerns about not engaging critical thinking skills. What are your thoughts on this?
So I think if you buy a black box vendor tool, that's exactly the problem you get. That it just does everything for you. And there's cheating, there's not engaging critical thinking skills. Whereas if you teach people how to build AI tools, how to build their own AI tools, then you have to engage critical thinking skills a lot. And it's not cheating. You are very much actually creating the tools that you need to automate your own work and fit within your own workflows. So that's what I would say would be the difference that would help clients accept AI much more effectively.
Highly recommend that the audience please continue to submit your questions at this time. What risks are associated with uploading internal documents into an AI platform like ChatGPT or Gemini?
If you use the enterprise versions, none. So if you use the enterprise version, they're about as risky as, so let's say if you're uploading into Copilot, that's about as risky as uploading into SharePoint. So because it's behind Microsoft's security server. So if you're using the enterprise version of Copilot, not the public freely available tool, that's fine. The same thing for Google Gemini, the enterprise version. The same thing if you use the enterprise version, not the freely publicly available version of Anthropic, Claude, and ChatGPT. They have enterprise level protection. So I don't know if it's quite as good as Microsoft or Google, but they have very solid protection, probably about as solid as something like Salesforce if you're using that, or any LMS platform. So better than No, they are better than LMS platforms. So it's fine to upload documents into them that are going to be your internal company documents. You're not going to have them show up in training data.
This is kind of like a nice follow-up to that question. Oh, sorry, just slipped because the questions keep coming in. Uploading documents, does it cause the machine to learn correct? So we wouldn't want this, we wouldn't want to do this with proprietary documentation. Is that accurate?
No, you absolutely can do it with proprietary documentation if you upload this into the enterprise version. So make sure to get the enterprise version of whatever tool you're using. And I think if you get, let's say, if at the smallest level, the cheapest enterprise version, which I'm used for my own company because it's a small 8-people consulting firm, we have an enterprise version of ChatGPT, and that's the minimum you can buy that is $50 a month, $25 a seat, so you get 2 seats. And we have, obviously, for 8 people, we have more. But if you are even a one-person shop, you can just get 2 seats and pay $50 a month, and that's going to be fine for you. Then you're just going to upload proprietary information. But companies I work with that are 1,000 people, they don't necessarily get seats for everyone, but for most people, they get seats, and that's great use for you to actually use ChatGPT effectively, upload documents into it without any concerns about proprietary risks.
This is an interesting question. An attendee asks, so do you see AI replacing traditional formal schooling?
I see AI complementing traditional formal schooling. I think school can't sustain what it currently has in terms of homework and so on, with AI being able to answer so many questions in terms of homework and so on. And AI is increasingly able to act as a tutor. And so you really need to have AI be a tutor, an effective tutor. And that's kind of one area where I think teachers will need to be much more AI curators than the stand and deliver lecturers. So we're talking about schools here, not L&D, which is separate, but I'll answer about schools. So you can't have that stand and deliver lecture, that's one, and you can't have the traditional homework model. So you'll need different assessments that can't be gamed by AI. So those are the big areas that will need to change in schools.
I think we have time for one more question. An attendee did ask if you can provide what can work with or provide any help for older trainers like themselves who are a little familiar with AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would encourage them to schedule the pro bono coaching meeting with me. So again, if you go to tinyurl.com/Gleb event, I'll be happy to help out and with helping you figure out how to use these tools. So tinyurl.com/GLEBEVENT. Happy to help out with your needs.
And for everyone in the audience, if you're scribbling that down, I will include this in the post-webinar email as well. So no need to worry, that will be included as well if you wanted to access the link. And this will be the final question. So say I'm using Enterprise Copilot. What about moving files that have personal info of clients or employees, drug test results, for example? What are the concerns, if any?
So if you have HIPAA information, you want to check specifically in terms of HIPAA. I believe that Microsoft Copilot is HIPAA compliant, and that's something that you'll want to just check on in terms of that specific regulation. But generally speaking, it should be. I'm pretty sure it's HIPAA compliant. I'm not sure about all the other models, but Microsoft Copilot, I believe, is HIPAA compliant. Otherwise, yeah, for all your proprietary information, the same answer. It's just as safe as putting it, like if you are going to put it in SharePoint, if you're going to put it in OneDrive, if you're going to put it in the online version of Microsoft Excel or Word, there's no difference. It's just all going to the same servers. So you're not really doing anything different. If you're going to send it in an Outlook email, it's all going to be in the same server with Microsoft having the same sort of protections.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Gleb. I think I speak for everyone in the audience. This was incredibly insightful and very appreciative of your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So before we officially close out, I do want to recommend that you also check out Dr. Gleb's article of why many HR Gen AI projects are doomed to fail. I will include this in the post-webinar email as well. So a lot of the resources that Dr. Gleb has mentioned, I will include that into the resources for the post-webinar email, so that way you can all enjoy at your leisure. So if you're in HR and not a SHRM member yet, you're leaving tools, answers, and support on the table. Access 3,500 expert-built templates, talk to certified HR pros, not bots, and get ahead with insider research and compliance tools, all designed to make your job easier and your impact bigger. Scan the QR code or visit shrm.org/edge to see what you're missing. So we are coming to the official close of the program. The PDC is displayed on your screen, and you can claim your credit by using the program number 26-SDK7C. Regardless of the type of recertification you have, you must keep track of the SHRM webinars you have watched and keep a reliable record on your end. So we have about less than 30 seconds before the program window closes. Just a reminder, in your post-webinar email, you will receive a survey as well as the SHRM recertification code, and of course, all of the amazing resources that Dr. Gleb provided. And we hope that you'll take a few moments to fill out the survey, and it'll help us assess this program and to plan for future events. Before we sign off, I want to thank Dr. Gleb for his insight today, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in and for being with us and for choosing SHRM for HR webinars. This concludes today's program.